So we pick travelers. Our typical customers are people flying in and out of the country. So we pick those from the airport to wherever they're going and back. And we do this through a network of driver partners for whom we give regular business and improve livelihoods. They can book through WhatsApp, they can call us, they can email us. We just try to make it as simple and convenient, as seamless as possible for our customers.
Our next presenter is going to be Mr.Paddy Ocheng, the Acting Assistant Commissioner for Service Management, Domestic Taxes Department, Uganda Revenue Authority. He's going to present on a guide to fostering tax compliance in SMEs. Mr. Ocheng, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dongtho. I bring you all warm greetings from the Commissioner General of Uganda Revenue Authority. Allow me to also appreciate Dr. Emmanuel and Reverend Canon Aaron Mwesije and the team that has organized this summit. Also, our appreciation for the invitation as URA to be part of this summit. Do faith-based business owners appreciate the importance of paying taxes in line with their religious beliefs and values? Well, to answer this, I'll read from the scriptures. I'll start in Romans chapter 3, verses 6 to 7. Now, Romans 13 is essentially about submitting to governing authorities. And now specifically, verse 6, this is also why, in submitting to governing authorities, this is also why you pay taxes. For the authorities are God's servants who give their full time to governing. Verse 7, give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay your taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor. Now this scripture ties in neatly with a reply that Jesus gave to the Pharisees in Matthew chapter 22 when they asked him about paying the imperial tax to Caesar. To which he responded, give Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God. Now, the Islamic faith teaches that we should collect taxes from those who have surplus wealth and not collect anything from those that do not have surplus wealth. So that means those who are not making money, in simple terms, should not be taxed. And only those that have made a surplus, only those who have made a profit, should be the ones to be taxed. Yes? So earlier, when Mr. Ochichi was sharing about 33-year-old Simon Peter, who started his business with only 20,000, it got me excited. And I was wondering, a lot of lessons were learned in there. There was a big lesson about meeting your statutory obligations. If you are going to grow and sustain a business, meeting your obligations to comply with requirements of paying taxes. In that story, Simon Peter starts to make supplies to Operation Wealth Creation. There's a withholding tax that Simon Peter should have suffered. Simon Peter grows his wealth and builds apartments in Soroti City. There's a rental tax that Simon Peter is expected to pay from the rental income that Simon Peter generates from those apartments in Soroti City. My presentation is simple. It's going to be a simple guide to SMEs. In about the next 5 minutes, I want to dive into it. How do SMEs factor tax into their business plans? How do they factor tax into sustainable growth? Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to dive into the presentation where we'll be guiding SMEs to have enhanced levels of tax compliance. I'll start with sharing what we do as URA. Our role or mandate essentially is to provide revenue services by collecting taxes and accounting for all these taxes. Everyone out there, of course, would know us as the tax collectors, but our roles are a little broader than simply collecting these taxes. We collect these taxes, we provide services as a starting point that enable us to collect these taxes. and we also account for all taxes collected. We also offer trade facilitation services by providing an enabling environment that fosters ease of doing business. We also offer guidance to the Ministry of Finance on matters tax policy. We do the implementation and administration of established tax policy. As we do this, we are guided by our mission, vision, and our core values. Our mission is to mobilize revenue for national development in a transparent and efficient manner. Our vision is to be a transformational revenue service for Uganda's economic independence. Now, this is guided by the core values of patriotism, integrity, and professionalism. How does a business start their tax compliance journey? The first step is for you to register with the Uganda Revenue Authority. Now, this process of registration entails having your details of the taxpayer correctly captured in our system for specific and applicable taxes. At the end of that process, a taxpayer identification number, which is a unique 10-digit number, is issued to every taxpayer. Now, who is a taxpayer? A taxpayer is any person. This could be an individual or a non-individual who is generating income, and as such, eligible for registration and being assigned a taxpayer identification number. Now, the different kinds of taxes that apply to SMEs, we have the income tax, we have the withholding tax, we have the VAT, the PAYE, and the LED. In the next slide, I'll dive into the obligations that follow registration in respect to the different taxes.
A tax on gazetted excisable goods and services. Examples of those we have are the mineral water that we are drinking. We have, well, this being a faith-based summit, I wouldn't choose the example of alcohol, but yes, there's local excise duty on alcohol, there is a local excise duty on a variety of beverages, and some other services such as transactional fees in commercial banks. So now this is accounted for by persons who deal in those excisable goods and services, and they are expected to remit the local excise duty by the 15th day of every month. VAT is principally tax that is paid by a consumer. VAT is value-added tax, so it's charged at every stage in the chain of distribution. So we have a whole list of goods and services that are taxable for VAT purposes. So a dealer in these taxable goods is required to charge VAT at a standard rate of 18% on the consumer of these goods and remit the same to URA. We also have VAT on non-resident suppliers of services deemed to be supplied in Uganda. Those are also required to charge VAT to the consumer of these services, the difference being that they account for this VAT on a quarterly basis, whereas the residents and those who are making supplies in Uganda account on a monthly basis. So the due date is the 15th day following the month when the supply was made. That's for the monthly returns, and for the quarterly, it's the 15th day following the end of the quarter when the supply of these services by the non-resident supplier was made. We have the income tax, and again this resonates a lot with the Islamic teaching on taxation. Income tax, it's charged on your profit. That's the excess, that's the surplus, and it's charged for both individuals and non-individuals. For individuals, they have obligations to file returns. They have an obligation to file a provisional return, which is due within the first quarter of the financial year. Now, the provisional return contains estimates of your profits for that financial year. The idea is you make estimates and then start making quarterly payments so that the burden of paying tax is lessened at the end of the financial year. So when the financial year ends, you file a final return with a declaration of actual profits that you made. Tax is computed on the profits that you made, and the payments that you made earlier in provisional tax will be used to reduce on the final tax payable. Now the due dates for the final tax for both individuals and non-individuals, 6 months after the end of the financial year. Please note, for the non-individuals, their provisional is 6 months. The due date for filing and paying their provisional tax is 6 months from the beginning of the financial year. So within the financial year, you're making your provisional. And for the individuals, it's the first quarter, first 3 months. These due dates apply to both filing of returns and making payment of any resultant tax. When a taxpayer is registered with us and assigned a tax identification number, they have rights on one side of the scale and obligations on the other side of the scale. So I'll quickly take us through the rights of a registered taxpayer. You have a right to be notified way in advance before any action is taken against you. So you have a right of prior notices, but also a right to accountability of the taxes that you pay to the URA. And that's why we've had campaigns as URA, as the taxpayer appreciation seasons. Usually they happen around September, where we give a full account to the taxpayer of what the taxes that they have paid have actually done. You have a right to objection in case you do not agree with a tax assessment. You have a right to appeal a decision made by the tax authority. You also have a right to a refund in case you have paid in excess of the properly payable tax. You have a right to equitable treatment. You have a right to confidentiality of the information that the URA has on your affairs in the course of our dealings. You have a right to good and excellent customer care. Now this side is you enjoying the rights. On the other side, there are obligations. You have an obligation to cooperate with the tax authorities and to keep your records. Bookkeeping is very key. Keep accurate records, keep complete records of your transactions. That's an obligation. As you're making your declarations in form of tax returns, you have an obligation to make them correctly and accurately. Now this is where integrity and honesty comes in. And in line with the theme of this summit, this is critical for business growth and sustenance for faith-based businesses. Do not make false declarations. Do not manipulate your records. Be very honest in your dealings with URA. Be very faithful in your declarations to URA, and the right taxes will be paid, and your business will prosper, and your business will grow. You also have an obligation to register, to file returns, to make payment in a timely manner, because, like I shared in the previous slide, there are statutory timelines within which these obligations should be met. It's very costly to not comply, very costly, and I'll share quickly, in about 2 minutes, the costs of non-compliance. URA will make assessments based on assumptions or presumption. You end up paying high taxes. Enforcement action, which may include closure of your business premises, could be taken against you if you do not comply. You miss out on business opportunities because the environment that we operate in, people want to deal with compliant taxpayers. People want to deal with taxpayers that are in good standing with the tax authority. Take an example of VAT registration. The way it works, if you charge someone VAT, that is your output, it becomes the other person's input. So if you're not compliant and you're not registered for VAT, for example, you will miss out on an opportunity to do business with entities that require that they deal with only VAT registered taxpayers. If you're not registered, if you're not complying, you will need what we call a tax clearance certificate, which will be denied, and many entities require that. For you to get any job, you have a tax clearance certificate. Comply, get your tax clearance certificate so that you do not miss out on any business opportunity. There's a loss in terms of your reputation, especially businesses that thrive on reputation. One of the earlier presenters talked about, from their findings, businesses that have thrived on a reputation. To give an example of a business that thrived on the goodwill from a neighboring church, those people probably wouldn't deal with you if URA came and closed your business because you're probably crafty, you've been found fraudulent in your dealings with URA. It kills your reputation and it damages business relationships. Delays in clearance of goods at customs when you're doing your cross-border trade, denial of tax refunds, shame list. Again, this could lead to a loss in your reputation. So these are very, very costly for any business, for any SME that wants to start, grow, and get to the next level. I'll talk quickly in the next about 1 minute. I just have about 2 slides to go about business formalization. Very important. Again, it's important for business opportunities. If you continue as an SME to operate informally, then you miss out on business opportunities. So I want to encourage SMEs quite strongly to formalize their businesses, register your business with the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, get a tax identification number by registering for taxes with URA, get a trading license, meet all your statutory requirements, and you will grow your business. You will tap into business opportunities. Mr. Chichi talked about taking it to the next level. You cannot take it to the next level if you want to continue operating informally. If you cannot keep records, record keeping is very key. For us as a tax authority, because it's on the basis of those records that proper taxes shall be assessed. But even as an SME, it's important that you keep records for your business growth, for key decision making. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for listening to me. Have a blessed afternoon.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with Rwandair today. Rwandair, the safest airline in Africa.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
I first met UMB when I was at the crossroads of my business. I had a serious problem, and UMB has made it possible for me to still stand today. How did they do this? They did not work and put me in a box. They looked at me as an individual and got a product from me which helped me to survive the period. Banks should look at it and see how they can also go that way to be able to meet individual customers, tailor products to suit the individual customers, and not to just box everybody together.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with Rwandair today. Rwandair, the safest airline in Africa.
Rwandair, fly the dream of Africa.
So we pick travelers, our typical customers are people flying in and out of the country. So we pick those from the airport to wherever they're going and back. And we do this through a network of driver partners for whom we give regular business and improve livelihoods. They can book through WhatsApp, they can call us, they can email us. We just try to make it as simple and convenient, as seamless as possible for our customers.